Hello boys, we're freaking here. Today we're gonna be touching on the best sentiments in the game. I have looked at cams, sentiment, and CDMs because there is some CDMs that can play sentiment, there is some cams that can play sentiment, and I'm gonna touch on icons, I'm gonna touch on Premier League, I'm gonna touch on La Liga, Bundesliga, everything. You name it, so that you can be ready for your weekend league. Don't forget to follow for more because we're gonna make it to 100k by the end of the year. So yeah, let's get right into it. I think right now one of the players that most people like as a sentiment is Zidane, and I don't seriously, last years it has not been this way. He's 91 rated, he has 84 pace, he goes for 3 million coins for some. Oh, he has 5.5. Okay, that's why. Basically, if you can get this guy for 3 million with 5.5 and you put a shadow on him, I think you're looking at what arguably is the best CDM in the game. One of the best, one of the best sentiments in the game. He's also a bit tall, he can defend, he's strong, he's good on the ball. He won't be he won't have the easiest facility to turn because he doesn't have the best agility, but overall he's a great card. I think that's what, if you're looking for a sentiment, if you ask a pro, that's what most of them are rocking. What else are they rocking? I think apart from him, one that a lot of pros are using because it just makes their life as well. Actually, if I'm honest, if you're looking for a sentiment, the player that pros are rocking, there is only one. And where is him? How much does he go for? Let's put him right here for you guys, and it's Gullit. It's Gullit. Why lie to myself? Gullit is the best. He is tall. For some reason, his dribbling is a bit still responsive. I think because his body type, he's a bit lean, so he actually turns quite well. He also has insane passing, insane shooting capabilities, insane stamina and pace. I actually still stand by what I said. I feel like Zidane is also a great alternative to this Gullit. But yeah, let's go, because most of you won't have the coins for those players. So what I have here for you is on sentiments, what you are looking for, right, is good dribbling. You're looking for good passing if possible. Someone that's basically like Modric on his prime, a player who can defend if needed, good on the ball, and that's decently with decent pace. So for me, the main key stat, apart from stamina, is passing and agility and balance. That's why I really like De Bruyne as a sentiment. He has a 5-star which is a great plus because he's gonna be the guy that our CDM is giving the ball to so he can pass the ball forward. Now, when I told you Gullit is the player that most pros use, you can clearly see every single thing I told you about on this card. He ain't got the best agility and balance, but for some reason, I'm telling you, in game with that 5-star midfield, it doesn't matter what side you go to, he's gonna be able to pass the ball quite easily with both feet. So someone like De Bruyne should do the job perfectly. The thing about De Bruyne, and the thing about the other card that I like that a bit more than De Bruyne, is Bruno Fernandes. Why? He's a bit shorter than De Bruyne. He has a little bit better dribbling when you look at agility and balance, and he is cheaper. He is cheaper with better defending. I think he can do the job with Shadow. 76 defending is quite decent, especially if you compare it to what De Bruyne has, which is only 72. What can you do with 72 when you can have someone who has 84 interceptions, 77 awareness, and standing tackles? Overall, I just feel Fernandes can do a better job. Bruno Fernandes, I feel like he can do a better job. But yeah, again, going into the list so that you guys can have an idea. If you're looking for an icon and you don't have that many coins, you cannot get Gullit, you cannot get Cruyff. There is one that I actually, you cannot get Zidane. There is one that I am using currently, and I can tell you he's quite good. This SEEDORF, I got him in my mid icon pack, and I can tell you he is absolutely great with Shadow. He's like a cheap he's like a bit clunkier version of Renato Sanchez. But if you really are in the market for what is considered for most one of the best sentiments in the game, who is accessible to most and it's not that hard to link, especially if you have this price range, there's a lot of players from Portugal. He can play it on 8 cam if needed, he can even play on 7. I think it is Renato Sanchez. With that balance, for that height, with that dribbling, with that passing, he is insane. Personally, I have him, and I can tell you he is what I consider to be one of the best CDM sentiments for the whole price. You put him right next to a Kante, you put him right next to someone who can get the ball back, you give it to him, he moves it forward. He is lacking the passing a little bit, but it is what it is. I feel like a player like VIEIRA, is sick. He's one of the best CDMs, but like, as I'm saying, VIEIRA is your CDM, and then your sentiment is Gullit. That's the best sentiment duo you can have in the whole game. Options: Zidane, then we go into the cheaper versions for you guys. I would stay away from Roy Keane. Someone like Petit, you need to wait for his 90. He's just great moving, and when like he's moving off on and off the ball, he's insane. Same goes for Makelele. Another great card is a CN, someone more like someone in between Kante and a strong Vieira, but still like keeping that responsiveness on the ball that I'm sure Vieira doesn't have. If I'm honest with you, I've never looked at Vieira myself. Like, the thing is, these icon cards are so cracked that, like, literally this guy could be 91 rated and have like 100 agility and balance. Yeah, there you go. He's literally gonna turn like a tank, but knowing icons, he's gonna turn quite smoothly, but the scene is gonna be better. Okay, Guardiola and those sorts. Personally, I wouldn't go with anyone that's not the ones that I just said, because I think Guardiola, Xavi, players like Ballack, it's more cards that are good. They serve a purpose, but they're just a bit more expensive than what you like to pay for them. Especially someone like Xavi, who has insane passing, insane dribbling, but for some reason that only 87 pace, it just puts me off. It just puts me off because with this price you could just get yourself SEEDORF, and I am 100% sure someone like SEEDORF who has better is 85, sorry. You pay a little bit extra, you get a lot more pace, you get a lot more strength, you get someone that just passes the ball less, is not as smooth, but it's just gonna cover a lot more of the pitch. That's why I prefer SEEDORF over Xavi. But yeah, continuing now so that you guys can get some players that you can use for your team. Again, as I said, Bruno Fernandes is great. Kimmich, I said in the previous video. Kante is someone that I will use CDM rather than centre mid. And then again, Veron, Petit, those cards. Personally, I will stay away and use the ones that I said. But if you want a Petit, you can grab yourself a Petit. Cross a bit, really. I was gonna say a bit, but he's really slow for me. Gattuso, you could argue. Socrates, you could argue to use him, but I wouldn't recommend. Makelele is the same. Yet again, he's a proper CDM, just like Kante is. Continuing, we have the player, the one and only, the Kai. I told you in his prime he was the best CDM, but now this card is just like what we saw at before, what we looked at before. He's just like Xavi Hernandez. He's lacking the pace, but he has insane dribbling and passing. In this FIFA, we really need someone like De Jong. We're gonna get to him at some point, but I feel like in center mid we really need players that are more like De Jong, players that are a bit taller, who have a bit better physicality, who can still pass and dribble if needed, but that have the pace to track back every single run, because you know how hard it is to track runs against Mbappe. Someone like Fabinho, Busquets, they're not good. Someone like Gomez is better as a cam, and yet again, I think Pogba is a good sentiment. I think this Pogba is specifically this one, but he goes for 1.1 million, which is something I don't like. But this Pogba specifically, with 91 defending and insane physicality, he can play CDM, he can play center mid, any of both that you like. I don't like him just because he's too pricey, but for pros, people that have the coins, I feel like you can 100% have him. I still will take Renato as a center mid every single day of the week, but you know, you have the option there for you. Again, another Pogba. I think like the most known partnership is like Pogba plus Kante is the most popular, and it's the most popular for a flipping reason. I think Partey is great. He has the dribbling, he lacks the base. Atso Witzel is one of those perfect like all-rounded cards that, you know, it's not available anymore, but was a good option for you guys that, you know, you liked someone who can shoot, pass, defend, do a little bit of everything, whilst using a bit of dribbling, sadly. I've seen people using Molet as a center mid. That's something that I wouldn't recommend at all. He's too short, and the defending is too low. Just don't do that. And Didi I don't like because he's too slow for me. Goretzka. This is what I would say a prime center mid / CDM could look like for you. A player like this, Goretzka, you put right next to a player like Renato Sanchez, and you have two CDMs who both can go up and do the job. This guy we looked at before, we look at Vieira. This guy has really flipping similar stats to Vieira. Similar heights, good pace, good. I don't know if Vieira actually has good shooting, but well, let's say he has good shooting, the passing and the dribbling. This guy for 200k, right next to someone like Renato, if you find a way to fit them both together, you got yourself one of the best partnerships in the whole game. Yeah, because they can both move forward. KHEDIRA is clunky, you know, he was a good card, and then someone like Thiago, I don't like him at all. 3 even though he can dribble, I think his passing is a bit awkward enough for me personally. I think Wijnaldum is another one that's a perfect example of what you're looking for in a CDM. Extra strength so that you can sometimes, and I know I keep telling you strength is not that important, pace is more important, but sometimes if it's a center mid, there are some options that are too small, bro, and they just cannot intercept a single ball, which is bad. Sometimes you need to try and find like a sweet balance in between someone too tall but someone too small. So what I like is in between 174 and like 180 is the perfect height for a center mid, especially if your other CDM is not like a Pogba or is not like a 180 player, you know, sorry, 190 player, you know, so that you can cover as much of the passing lanes as possible if necessary, but at the same time I like it to maintain dribbling. So Wijnaldum does just that. Again, a little bit lacking on the pace. I would like 90, but for the price, 22k, 28k, you cannot go wrong with him. Apart from him, I would say he's a prime example of someone that's really accessible. I think another one that is often overlooked, and this guy, the only reason I did not like this guy was because he's too short. I think Fred 169, he was too short to intercept balls for me personally, but 89 pace with insane defending, decent passing and dribbling. I thought that he was gonna be just like Renato Sanches, and he was similar, but he is a massive downgrade on him, I have to say. He's not as tall, he doesn't cover as much space, and he's not as good with when he tries to get the ball back. That's why someone like Kante, even so he is as short as him, he has higher defending, he's always going to get himself in good positions, and he has good strength and good aggression. So that's all, it all adds up to make him into a more, you know, a better player trying to stop those passing lanes. Now, there is a lot more options that go for less, 85, 84. I think Valverde is a great center mid. Nainggolan is like the prime example of a sick, all-rounded center mid who can attack, defend everything that you want on a center mid. Paulinho, I've played against, and he's absolutely terrific. Like he destroys me every time. Zakaria, Vidal. Well, Vidal lacks the pace, and Zakaria is more like a CDM minded. Same goes for Partey, like I said before. So yeah, I think overall by this point you already know and have an idea on those players. I think Llorente is one of the best CDMs as a center mid. Maybe not the best, low balance, and he has 3-3, so he's too predictable. Even though he has good shooting, he just becomes too predictable, bro, as a card. Like I personally have used him, and I really like him tracking back, but then when he had to go forward, he was just lacking. Andre is good personally because of his pace. I felt like when I used him, he was a bit just average. Hence why my favorite was just Renato, bro. Like seriously, from all the sentiments I've used, I got SEEDORF, I told you before, and Renato just wins it all for me, man. Renato just wins it all for me. Sissoko, this Tello is a great addition to the center mid position. I need to try him and see what he's like, but I feel like with an anchor, this guy 93 pace with 80 defending. Actually, with anchor, with shadow, he has more defending. Yeah, 98 pace with 82 defending, with that dribbling for a player of that height, he should be absolutely unreal. If I were you, I'll be giving my guy Tello a chance if you have a Serie A squad. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, boys. I hope that you like it. There is a lot more options. KESSIE, I don't know if I touched on KESSIE last time, but the thing with KESSIE is he's rough. I think he is like a alternative if you don't have coins to SEEDORF. He looks exactly like it, but just lacks the shooting. Especially if you're going for 200k, someone that's stronger than SEEDORF, bigger than SEEDORF, that has I see he's stocky. He's average, but he shortly in game he has a bigger hitbox than SEEDORF. When I see him, he's just wide. Maybe I was gonna say his weight, but I don't know. But yeah, he just covers more ground personally when I used him at least in FIFA 20. So yeah, if you're looking for a CDM, if you're looking for a center mid to partner up with your CDM, by this point you should know who to pick. Love you all. See you all. Goodbye.